Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's leader of the Cosmic Armada, Wolf Nara, back to bring you another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. And today we're going to be talking about when exactly did Boruto personality change between Boruto Naruto Next Generation and Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, and what could that possibly mean going forward for Boruto decision making in the story. So if you guys want more Boruto content like this, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. We are on the road to 1K and we are almost there. We're like 27 away or something like that. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel with the bell enabled so you know when I drop more Boruto content. You feel me? But anyway, let's get started with today's video.
Who really a factor? I done grew up as a bastard, stepped out the womb into a disaster. Designing drugs and guns on my city after, pray for the lackers. Cause it only get worse and they try to blame it on the rappers, label us factors. My rappy told me sign an affidavit, like my life and my family ain't matter. Do you know how I feel to get served to the court on the platter? That shit that happened. Bitch, your life fell soon like the months in the womb that your mama went through never happened. Seeing another lady, your baby was killed every summer, that shit like a pattern.
So now, when talking about Boruto personality, we have to pretty much go back to the beginning. We know Boruto was regarded as a genius, and so when you take a look into the Boruto anime, we have the aspect of Kakashi graduation exam for Boruto's class, in which the entire class had to pretty much get the bells from Kakashi, in which they almost succeeded as a class. However, Boruto had a personal interaction with Kakashi in which he had a similar circumstances to Sasuke, whereas Kakashi mounted Boruto and told, whoa, that's crazy. that's crazy. But nonetheless, he mounted Boruto, and then he told Boruto to break his arm. But in Naruto, he told Sakura to kill Naruto and he let Sasuke go. But in Boruto's case, he told Boruto to break his arm in order to free himself. And because Kakashi tells Boruto that, yes, he already had the talent to make a Chunin before he even leaves the academy, with already having wind style, water style, and lightning style. However, he doesn't have the tenacity to go through everything wholeheartedly, in which we go past that. He had learned a ton of different lessons, in which we get to, because I'm not going to really go into everything with the anime. We're not going to go into the different lessons he learned as he was gathering his classmates around him. However, we're going to talk about the fame part that everyone hates Boruto for, which is the Chunin Exam, him cheating. And so when you have the aspect of your dad being pretty much one of the leaders of the world, one of the figureheads of the world, in which you inevitably living in his shadow, and unlike Naruto, who didn't necessarily have to live under the shadow of the fourth Hokage, he wouldn't know how it feels to just want to be recognized for who you are. One thing we do see with Boruto, one of the first things he say after we get the thing with Kawaki in the beginning, is that this isn't the story about his dad. This is his story, just signifying how he has inferiority complex when it comes to being the son of the seventh Hokage. And so when he begins to cheat, it's really in essence of his, not necessarily because he didn't have the skill, but more because he didn't have the capability to put his whole heart into one thing. He always had the fear Boruto always has had the fear of not being able to live up to the potential that others see him as, just pretty much not being able to step up to the plate. And so with his dad watching above anyone else, the shadow that he's living under, but also the light that he longs to be shined or acknowledged by, he finally gets that person to not necessarily acknowledge him, but get him to watch him, in which he wants to show out in front of his father. And now with Naruto taking the headband away from Boruto, it just goes to signify how he doesn't necessarily understand what it takes to be a ninja. And so we get early on in that arc, we get him actually starting to train with Sasuke, in which Sasuke made a bet with Naruto that the heart of a ninja is pretty much the same throughout time. And he says that although what Boruto finds appealing, or what Boruto finds important to his generation, doesn't change the fact that he's a ninja and that he still He has the same will of fire that every other ninja has in the Naruto or in the Village Hidden in the Leaves. And so when Boruto confronts Momoshiki with the family Rasengan, I love, artistically speaking, he actually confronts Momoshiki with his own Rasengan. However, it is still inferior, but it was just enough to catch him off guard, just to signify that although he's not up to par yet, he still has that potential to be someone as great as his father, just in different ways. Because although Naruto is a more straightforward fighter, if you see that with the Rasengans that Naruto forms throughout the series, it's always more of a straightforward way of doing it. While Boruto has more of a tricky way of always utilizing his Rasengan, as you see with his regular Rin style Rasengan that has 2 rings like Saturn. Well, not like Saturn, but has 2 rings around it. Then you have the Compressor Rasengan, which the Rasengan is compressed chakra, but he compresses that chakra to one finite point, which is a lot harder than compressing it into the orb that we typically see the Rasengan in. And so he always had a different sort of bag that he could utilize, but he didn't have the mindset to be able to actually put it into works. He always like cheated at video games, and so he always would find the most easy way of going about things. And so as the series progresses on, so when he meets Aoi basically signifies by pretty much putting the screwdriver to his neck that he has to be careful with who he interacts with through the world. The world is full of people who will deceive you, in which Boruto still refutes that fact by saying that's understandable. They are who they are, and he is who he is. Just basically saying that not everyone's going to see the world that you view the world. However, you can at least come to an understanding. And as we see throughout the arc, Boruto pretty much tries to bring Aoi back from the depressed state that he was in following the 4th grade ninja war, in which he actually succeeded in bringing Aoi back. We see that when Kashin Koji arrives, Aoi tries to pretty much tell Boruto and his team to run while he holds Aoi off. Even though typical ninjas who say stuff like that in Naruto, you know what I'm saying, they go bye-bye all the time. You feel me? So now the lesson that Boruto himself instilled from that is that the same lesson that we get for Naruto, with Naruto saying that he doesn't, my apologies, is this lesson that we get from that Boruto learns from Aoi is the same lesson that Naruto learns about Zabuza, because Boruto at that point in that particular arc, coming off the Chunin exam, he had a very negative taste in his mouth about using scientific ninja tools because he was manipulated by Sasuke. However, in this particular case, he understands that that anything can be a tool. However, the tool is not inherently bad. It's just how the tool is utilized that was used bad. While Naruto thing was that people were tools, and he didn't view people as tools. While Zabuza did view people as tools. And if you kind of stack that methodology together, you kind of get the Boruto that we currently have. However, we're not just quite there yet. Now, when we continue on down the line, we have the Kara actuation arc, in which they get Kawaki, and Boruto and Delta invade the village. And so it's at first Boruto didn't really take well to Kawaki because he not only was he outside, he was rude. And so eventually they did become close, but the moment that really made them close was the base. And so Kawaki essentially broke Himawari's vase that she made for her mom, in which he spends the rest of the arc putting the vase back together, trying to find this one piece in which it kept leaking. And it just goes to show the emptiness that Kawaki has felt in himself. However, this is not a Kawaki video, but if you want me to produce a Kawaki video, I can produce that Kawaki video. It's not really nothing like that. But anyway, when you look into that arc and Boruto's initial relationship, or the progression of Boruto's relationship with Kawaki, Boruto learns to accept people for who they are, in which that also translate to what Kakashi always tried to teach Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, which is to perceive the hidden meaning into things, in which Boruto understand that yes, Kawaki says something one way and he means it one way, however his intentions are completely different, in which that relationship is cultivated throughout the series further. And so when Kawaki essentially sacrifices himself for Himawari, Boruto, in that situation Boruto was powerless, Boruto understand exactly what Kawaki was meaning by everything he was saying. It was almost as if everything added up, in which he understood that in that situation, yes, he was powerless. Yes, he has to actually be able to outthink his opponents and be able to preemptively strike, in which we get further down the line, in which Kawaki and Boruto relationship begins to get close, and they began to have conversations talking about the karma, and how they want to actually not only rid themselves of the karma, but how the karma itself make them feel. In which Boruto, he doesn't necessarily feel any dread from having the karma. He feels more of like he gets a power boost, not necessarily a sense of ecstasy, but more of a sense of adrenaline from using the karma rather than dread. And Kawaki views that situation as Boruto still being naive in regards to the way he viewed the effect of the karma in of itself. And so now Boruto understands that from Kawaki's perspective, and we have the aspect in which Momoshiki states to Boruto that he's going to lose everything, and so with Boruto pretty much losing everything, it's going to come as a result of his naivety, when he's not supposed to be naive, in which we're going to get deeper into that in another video I have planned later on down the line. So if you guys want to see that video, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. So now, with the Kawaki and Boruto pretty much promising that Momoshiki takes over Boruto, that Kawaki is going to unalive Boruto, at least that way not only everybody in the village can be saved, but essentially they're saving everyone on the planet by getting rid of this one Otsutsuki, especially after after Ishiki himself had pretty much been soul has been extinguished. And so for Boruto to go from not being able to break his arm but to being able to accept the next step after life due to the ramifications of his actions goes to show the growth of that character, but it also goes to show that he still had a belief that everything would essentially work itself out. So now then Kawaki does the unthinkable, switches their lives around, and now Boruto is essentially ends up with nothing as a result of his own decisions, as a result of him becoming close and actually understanding someone. So the thing that made us all connect with Naruto is that, again, like I said in my previous videos, that he was able to connect with everyone. Wow, Boruto, he was not only able to connect with everyone, but he connected with the wrong person just that one time. Next, when Boruto leaves, we still see Boruto have this happy or this optimistic view. After Boruto and Kawaki switched places, using the either Shinjutsu or omnipotence, we was able to still see that Boruto had an optimistic view on the world, and states that even he's gonna pretty much get everything that he lost back. And so now we transition into Boruto, 2 Blue Vortex. And so when we see Sasuke in the tree, Boruto had this throughout 2 Blue Vortex, Boruto has this real solemn look on his face, this real sad look on his face, this real Uchiha look on his face, in which he's beginning to peer into the true essence of things, which that is one of the jobs of the Shadow Hokage, is to actually question everything. And if you have even the smallest suspicions, you should always check that suspicion, because even the smallest oversight can have a catastrophic domino effect, in which that goes to show that what I said earlier in the video, stating that he combines the people are tools, and tools are good or bad depending on who utilizes them together in regards to this new Boruto. So when we take a look into the most recent chapter of Two Blue Vortex, chapter 5, we see that Sasuke and Boruto had spent a year together, and Boruto still holds this naivety in which he states to Sasuke that he pretty much mastered all of the techniques that Sasuke was able to teach him. So I'm just saying, if you guys did go view my what jutsus did Sasuke teach Boruto video, I did use one jutsu that Sasuke could teach Boruto in that video, and I'm not going to talk about it here. But himself then tells Sasuke he pretty much mastered all of his techniques. But Sasuke pretty much tells him the man's lack fortitude. He lacks the mentality to be able to apply those in the optimal situation using the most optimal chakra control. In which we actually see with him utilizing flying rising, actually needing the time to gather the chakra to pinpoint the location of the far across dimensions, is basically saying he's not as skilled as his father. He can't do it as fast. So the application of those techniques has not been necessarily used yet. So now, the application of those techniques. So now, when we get Sasuke and Boruto versus Cole in the different claw grime, we see Boruto's sword is broken, just basically saying that he's hindered useless, in which Sasuke tells Boruto to run. And so after you've done all this training, and your master, as far as Sasuke can say, has basically praised you and stated that you has learned everything he can taught, and you're a genius among geniuses, and you're still unable to hold the candle, the powerlessness you feel in that situation could be enough to make you change. However, that wasn't the moment where he changed. He comes back to the scene after Sasuke gets sealed, picks up the sword and reflects and tells Sasuke that he's pretty much going to hold the fort down. He's pretty much going to make sure everything is okay and also save him as well. Just also showing he still holds a piece of that Boruto that we know and love. However, we know eventually he encounters Kashin Koji, and this is where I believe that Boruto personality begins to take a more realistic view in regards to seeing the results of people's decision in the world. And so now Boruto, when we see Kashin Koji approach Boruto on the tree, the first thing he tells Boruto is that he's not trying to console him. So throughout this entire time, we see Sasuke, although he wasn't intentionally trying to console Boruto, it's just the thought of Sasuke being honest with Boruto and the history that he had with Sasuke. Even though Sasuke doubted that history, the history Boruto had with Sasuke actually cultivated this closeness with Sasuke that Boruto was able to gain again through that training. But with Kashin Koji, it's a bit different. Kashin Koji views everyone as a tool because he's a tool himself. He was used to pretty much sacrifice the Jigen persona and body so that way Ishiki can be made whole and not be able to manifest himself completely because he didn't complete the karma process with Kawaki. Or maybe it's a proximity thing. However, nonetheless, so we know Kashin Koji pretty much views everyone as a tool because he himself was created for being a tool. And so when it comes to consoling, he's not necessarily here to console anyone. However, he is here to complete his mission because he is tool. You have to understand the way Zabuza view things as well. And so when you have Naruto aspect of seeing the best in people, and in an aspect like Kashin Koji seeing himself as a tool, then you get the end result of Boruto personality ultimately changing, because if essentially we're all animals, we are gonna have to adapt to our situation. And if you guys want that what did Kashin Koji teach Boruto video, you know what I'm saying, let me know. Get this video, if I see this video get to at least 50 likes, I'll start working on that video. I'll even edit it. But when you take a look into the personalities being displayed in the relationship of the characters, or the fondness of the characters as well being displayed, then Boruto personality would ultimately change, with being constantly told that the way that he viewed things is wrong, or that he should do things this way and rather that way. Because when you look at the way Sasuke views the world, not necessarily views the world, but the information that Sasuke has about the world, he doesn't have enough information about the Otsutsuki to actually see the true threat that they hold. He knows the end result, which is the planet being absorbed, but in regards to an interdimensional threat. So, but Kashin Koji would have a lot more knowledge on that. So when it comes to things about, so when it comes to information about the Shinju, because we know the Shinju name itself was introduced to us by Boruto. So when it comes to information about the Shinju, all of that could have been information that Kashin Koji provided to Boruto. And so when he sees that all of this just stemmed from him just getting close to one person, and the result of everyone overall decision, and that this is pretty much this may be the end of everything, Boruto essentially is being crushed by the weight of the world. And so at that point, he had no choice but to adapt to at least that way. Even if he doesn't have the best outcome, he could be the tool that's necessary to bring about the end of the Shinju and the Otsutsuki. So that's pretty much all I got. So if you guys want me to cover anything about Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, or Boruto in general, or any topics whatsoever, just let me know, and I could definitely produce those videos. But anyway, it's been your boy Wolf Nara. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.